Hi Peralta third graders, this is Mrs. Famous trying my first math video, so be patient with me. So the objective today is to use your understanding of fraction concepts to solve real world problems. And these problems go along with the pages 387 through 389 in that small fraction packet. There are 3 pages for Friday's work. Okay, so I'm going to go over 3 problems with you as examples. So I'm turning here. Okay, so this first problem we're going to go over together is, well, first of all, we're going to talk about what is the process when you're doing a word problem. First thing you want to do is you want to read the word problem carefully. I say at least 2 times. And you want to highlight or underline the key words and the what I call information. So Miss Ashby has a box of red pencils. She gives 3/8 of the pencils to Sam and 3/6 of the pencils to Simon. To which boy does she give more pencils? Okay, so I see that one of them is 3/8. So 3/8 of the pencils is going to Sam. I'm going to highlight that. And 3/6 of the pencils is going to Simon. Okay. So let me read it again. See, Miss Ashby has a box of red pencils. Okay. She gives 3/8 of the pencils to Sam and 3/6 of the pencils to Simon. To which boy does she give more pencils? So I guess I'm trying to think, she's trying to compare. Did she give more to Simon or did she give more to Sam? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw and try to figure it out by doing a tape diagram or fraction bar to solve that. So I'm going to draw using my Sharpie here so you can see. So I'm going to make a rectangle. And I want them to be the same size so that I can evaluate which one is greater or smaller, more or less. Now, I've been drawing these longer than you, so yours won't be necessarily as good. Okay, so if I want to do 3/8, let's say this one is Sam, and I want to make it 3/8. That means the denominator tells us the total number of parts. So that means that this has to be 8 parts. And to do that, I'm going to put 7 lines in there. And I'm kind of estimating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mine is not perfect. I suggest using a pencil at home. I'm using a Sharpie just so you can see it better. And then I'm going to highlight the numerator, which is the top number. It tells us how many she gave him. So she gave him 3/8 of the box of pencils. Okay, and then Simon, she gave Simon 3/6. Well, 6 tells us that I have to have 6 equal parts down here. So that means I need to put 5 lines to make 6 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one is not quite as good how I drew it. And then you're going to also highlight that she gave him 3. Okay, so you might be able to see right away, well, gosh, Simon looks like he got more than Sam. And that makes sense because it's the same number of fractional parts at the top, but the bottom part, which is the total pieces, is 8 is a lot more pieces than 6. So these pieces are going to be smaller, right? So then I would write in my answer here, Simon received more because 3/6 is greater than 3/8. right? And I could even write it like this. 3/6 greater than 3/8. Okay? Okay, let's try the second one here. The second problem I have is another word problem. So I'm going to read it first, at least twice, try to figure out what it's saying, and highlight the key information. Okay? Abby and Maya W. bought matching journals for their shelter-in-place assignments. Abby decorated 5/9 of the pages in her book, and Maya W. decorated 5/6 of the pages in her book. Use a tape diagram to show who decorated more pages of their journals. Okay, well, I'm going to highlight Abby decorated 5/9 of her book, and this is the same size book, obviously, right? You have to make sure you understand that. Maya W. decorated 5/6 of her book. Use a tape diagram, that's like a bar graph, right, to show who has decorated more. So they want me to compare more. So Abby has a journal, the same kind of journal as Maya W., but Abby did 5/9 of the pages with decorations, and Maya W. did 5/6. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to try to draw it. Okay, again, I'm going to make my bar and try to make them equal. So that represents the book, the whole book, right? So if Abby decorates 5/9, that means I have to have 5/9 would have to be 9 pieces. So I have to have 8 lines. So I'm going to guesstimate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 9 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is the whole book. The whole book over here is going to be 9/9. This actually, I should cross it out. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5/9 is going to be like right there, right? So if I highlight that, I've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And this was Abby's, is that true? Abby's. And then this one is Maya W's. Okay, so Maya W has 5/6. So that means 6 pieces, equal pieces. So that means I have like 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she decorated 5 out of 6 pages, so she was really busy. So 5 out of 6 pieces, I should say, not pages of this. So you can see if 5/6 is here, right? The whole book would have been 6/6, right, for her. So 5/6 is definitely a lot bigger than 5/9, right? So Maya W decorated more than Abby. The key thing to remember when the numerators are the same, 5 and 5 here, when the denominator is smaller, like 6, that fraction is bigger. Okay, so when numerators are the same, the smaller denominator is a bigger fraction. That's because it has less pieces. It's kind of like if you had a same candy bar and you had to break the same candy bar into 9 pieces to share versus 6 pieces to share, your 6 pieces are going to be bigger. So 5/6 of that candy bar is much bigger than 5/9 of the smaller pieces. So if we were to write this, we would have Maya's is greater, sorry, I'm running out of space, greater than Abby's, right? And I already explained a little bit here on that. Okay, one last problem. Hopefully you can see, this mic hopefully is working out here. You can see, hard for me to tell. This last problem This is also number 10 on page 388. It's the last problem. It looked pretty hard, so I thought I would go over it together. Tamaya, Celeste, and Magenta have 3/3, 3/4, and 3/6 dozen pencils, but not in that order. Tamaya has the fewest pencils, and Celeste has the most. How many pencils does each student have? Wow, this is a hard one. So we've got 3 people here, Tamaya, Celeste, Magenta, and they have 3/3, 3/4, 3/6 dozen pencils, but not in that order. This is a really hard one, not in that order, okay? Tamaya has the fewest, and Celeste has the most. How many pencils does each student have? Okay, let me rethink what this is saying to me. There are 3 students, and they have, this is not telling us the order. So one person has 3/3, one person has 3/4, and one person has 3/6, but we don't know who. Out of a dozen pencils, how much is a dozen? When you get eggs at the store, how many is a dozen? 12, right? 12. Whoops, I don't think you can see. 12 is a dozen. Okay, so I'm going to draw these fractions so I can kind of figure out how much they are. So let's see. Let's make 3 different tape diagrams or fraction bars. Okay, so let's start with doing 3/3. Well, if I'm doing 3/3, I'm just gonna put that over here. That means 3 pieces. So I do 2 lines. And that would mean all 3 pieces are done. So 3/3 is the same as 1 whole, right? It's the whole thing, right? So that's one of them. The other one is 3/4. So that means 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. For 4 pieces. And that person has 3. So that one looks smaller because that is 4 pieces and I have 3 of it. Okay, and then we've got 3/6. So that means I have to do 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she has 3 in this one too. 3, 3. Okay, that one is 3/6. Okay, so which one, it looks bigger to you? This whole one, right? 3/3. So that has to be the person that has the most. So that has to be a Celeste in this example. Okay, and then which one's the smallest was this one, right? Because it has a smaller piece, the pieces are smaller. So that's Tamaya. And this one is Magenta. The tricky problem with this is it says how many pencils does each student have? So even though I figured out the fraction, I have to figure out the pencils. Well, if I have 12 in a dozen, that would mean this whole thing is 12, right? So 3/3 would be the whole thing. So Celeste is going to have 12 of them. And if this is 12, how I would do this is I would say, well, Magenta has 12 divided by 4. That's each piece is equal to 3. And then times 3, right? So she has 3, 3, 3. So hers, or adding up together, is 9. And then 3/6, you might already notice that that one is a half, right? So that's the same as 12